And as you said, for people that are serious, like really serious, they want to get to the business right away. How do you build rapport with them in the start? How do you like get in sort of a, let's say, friendly tone? Because from what I have heard, it's a good idea, right? You don't try to get into the business directly because it feels salesy somewhat.
Mhm.
So how do you avoid doing that in that case?
So there's already one problem with your question. The question involved the fact of beginning of the call. Rapport doesn't happen only at the beginning, it happens through the whole thing. Just like
Mhm.
the sale, it goes through the whole call. There's not one part of it that there shouldn't be some form of connection between you and that prospect. If I cannot empathize with whatever's happening, connection is broken. When the connection is broken, then they start thinking, can I trust this person? That's the danger zone. You don't want them questioning if they can trust you because then it's almost impossible to recover. So now, rapport in itself doesn't have to be necessarily how's the weather? How's your kids? How's this? How's that? It can be pure empathy. Okay. Empathy or sympathy, depending on if you can relate to it or not. But it's building that connection of human to human, person to person. Very similar if you were just talking to a friend. You're going to talk to them. It's like, hey, I might not know what that feels like, but I can
Mhm.
imagine it feels like this. Is that what you're going through? Like, that's what it means by sympathy. It's not a pity statement. A lot of people think sympathy is pity. It's not. Sympathy just means I'm trying to empathize with you without going through it. Empathy means I've been there, done that, so I can relate.
Okay. Mhm. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Another thing would be, yeah, it is said very much that you should try to keep your conversations casual and just try to have conversations like you would with a friend. But I've heard some mixed advice on this. Some say do that. Others say that um, when you don't have a lot of experience, you should start with a script. You should
Mhm.
practice with the script and then go through that in the conversations. And then when you get very comfortable, that's when you start, trying to be more casual. So how would you mix both of these things?
Oh, I love the conversation of scripts. Um, because it's so debatable. Okay. So when I first started sales and I went through Dan Locke's high ticket closing course, and that was in 2019. And one of the assignments was create a script. I couldn't create a script to save my life. I was like, it took me I never did it. Let's just be fair. I never did it. It took me looking at other people's stuff. It took me figuring things out. And the idea behind a script is so you have an outline of where you're going,
Hmm.
but people don't understand what a script means because when I think of script, it could be different than what you think. When I think of a script, I think of a TV script, like for a TV show. He said, she said, he said, she said. That's it, right?
Hmm.
Well, my analytical brain was like, how can I predict the unpredictable? I don't know how they're going to respond. So then I started creating a flow chart that just like grew and grew like a freaking uh what was it, a ancestral tree. And I was like, well, this is not helpful at all to figure this out.
Hmm.
So I was like, there's gotta be a better way. People are doing it, right? People are doing it to create actual scripts. Some of them create summaries, some of them do a lot of different things. And so over time, I fought with this a lot because I was just like, I love the idea, but I don't know how to do the idea. So what I ended up doing was, I think this was a couple months in. I think it was like 2 or 3 months into closing with Dan that I actually figured out there are only four categories people can fall in. And if I can prepare for the four categories, I'm golden. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
we're good. So the four categories, and these are categories for the needs specifically, it's family, time, money, other. Now, the people in the other, I hate them They are so unpredictable. And these are the people that are like, I just want to do something in my spare time.
Okay.
I'm like, I hate you. I can't do anything with this. Okay. Now, some people can, right? You could still build from it. Probably more futuristic as far as that, like, okay, well, what does it look like in the future if you're doing this? Blah, blah, blah. So I handled the three. I handled three. And I was able to create a list of questions for each category to figure the questions were not specifically of after you know it, but before you know it. Questions that'll lead you to know it's a family, it's a time, or a money.
Mhm.
And then the problem I ran into is they'll overlap each other because it'll start with family, but I need more time to spend with the family. And then if I have that, but then I still want to make sure I get the money, right? So it's like, okay, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Okay, screw it. I'm not doing it. I was just like, I was like, I can't do this. So then what I did is I changed my approach. I was like, okay, I need Bant. I actually do this for every role play, including yours for your interview. I will write down on the sheet specifically Bant. Oh, you can't see it. I will write
Uh,
Bant on the side and I'll go check, check X, or I think yours had just like over the whole thing. But to be like, okay, did we get it? Did we actually get it? And so I would have this out and I would listen intently to the conversation. That's important, listening intentionally. And so I wouldn't have a script. I already practiced some of the questions that I could use, but now all I had is
mhm.
this card that had bam. So I would write down which one each one was. That's why my desk was full of paper. Um, so then I would ask one question, listen, and at first, I would get stuck because I'm like, okay, now what? And I would get through it. But then when I observed normal conversation and how I was doing it in setting, I realized the biggest difference is when I'm trying to make a point with somebody, I use their words in my reply. And I'm like, well, shoot, I don't do that when I'm setting. Why not? So then I'm like, okay, let's try it again. So I did that and then I started using their terms. I work 9 to 5. What do you do for a 9 to 5? I do customer service. How long have you done customer service? I've done it for 6 years. How have you felt about the 6 years? Oh, well, I hate it. Well, why do you hate it? So each one, there's a little context from the prior sentence coming into it. And then I noticed how it's flowing the conversation. And I'm like, oh, here's that nice little connection, the nice little link between
Mhm.
the beginning and the end. And then I was able to then find out, okay, well, if I'm going to go from here, how do I get from here to here? And it's like, what's that link? And then it came a different question. And when you
Uh,
know I want to get Bant, okay, roughly these are the questions I want to typically ask, and then you can string them together.
have you noticed that making a difference? Like, suppose, let's talk about the conversation that you are talking about right now.
Yeah.
They say that they have been working on this job for 6 years.
Hmm.
I mean, you don't include that context in your next question. You just ask, okay, how how are you feeling about that? How how was your experience working there? You don't speak about these 6 years of experience, and you
Why
do
not?
the same thing for. I mean, what difference does it make? That's what I'm trying to understand.
The
Like whether
difference
you
is
include the
active
context or not.
listening. When you active listen to someone, they know they're heard. So
So is
it
it
could be
subconscious or is it subconscious
subconscious.
for them or
Yes,
okay?
it is subconscious for them. Because if I go, wow, you were in that for 6 years, how does that make you feel? Because now they're like, oh, you're listening to me. Okay, well, let me hear it. Let me give you more. Because how many times do you want to explain something to someone who's not talking or listening?
Okay, yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, it's more like I think it's more like when you cold DM people. Like I have experienced DMing, so you try to include something
That's a
specific, so they reply.
whole different ball game. DMing is a completely different thing. than phone setting. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it should be the same thing. No, because now you're dealing with tonality, you're dealing with
Mhm.
interpretation, and you have a lot more pieces of communication to work with versus text. Text, you're fighting their subconscious and whatever they're feeling at that particular moment, they read your message. When you're on
Yeah.
the phone and you're live with them, you hear their tone, you hear how their expression is. Maybe they're good, maybe they're bad. You kind of get the little senses going throughout the conversation. So you get a lot more indirect data than DM setting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about like when you cold DM someone, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
try to include a little bit of context as well so that you increase your chances of getting a reply. So is
Mm-hmm.
it like something similar when you try to include the context in phone conversations as well, right? Um, it's like they just want to be listened either way. They just want to be known, like they're not just another prospect for you.
Yes, but in DM setting, because I have done some of that before, it's not as lengthy and it's not as effective. Just because of the fact you could scroll up. Oh, look, sentence. On the phone, you can't. There's nothing there to have context of it. So when you're on messages, simply can you expand on that is fine because
Mhm.
one line above. Now, if, of course, if it's like a whole like couple lines above, yeah, I would put a little something in there, like, hey, you mentioned this, and then move on with it. But if it's right above, there's no need. It's right there. But with the phone setting, like you have that nonverbal as well as verbal communication that you're playing with. And it comes with a lot of also knowing how you're going to come across as well. So it's basically two different factors, two different logistics that you're going through with both of them. And the subconscious is two different active in two different ways.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Yeah. How much time did you have? 30 or
10
40?
minutes. You got 10 more minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So I did not think any more questions. I thought, honestly, I thought this
Aw,
would be a
you
10
got
minute
your
call.
favorite. You're missing your favorite question, the one everybody asks. Aw.
Which one?
You were
I'm not
close to it
sure.
earlier, and I was waiting for you to ask. My
Yeah,
favorite question from
I did not
phone
even
setters.
prepare for this call. I honestly thought, I honestly thought we were gonna just go through that one question. You would
No,
have
it
10,
goes
15
through a whole
minutes.
bunch of things. It always goes into a whole bunch of things. And that's also another thing with your calls. Don't go in with one expectation. The only expectation is I'm getting a set. That's it.
Yeah.
um,
My thinking regarding that is so with if, in regards to the expectation that you go on the
yes.
call with, it's that you don't go with any expectations. I mean, your intention is to hopefully set them, but then it's really to see if they are a fit or not. That's the only intention.
That's debatable. Only because it's like, are you a good fit or not is part of it, but the other thing is, can I help you?
I
It
mean,
sounds a
yeah,
little bit
I use
customer
those two
servicey,
synonyms.
but yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
sounds a
use
bit
those
customer
two things like.
servicey, but yeah. It sounds a bit customer servicey when I say that about like, how can I help you? But mentally, that's obviously what we're trying to do is, is this actually going to help you? Um, so the other thing I want to actually I could address here is something that you got close to. How do you find your nice little setter language closing style? That was a fun one for me to figure out. Fun fact, I sucked at inbound. When I first started, I sucked at inbound, but I was awesome at outbound. I don't understand how this works.
You
Um,
still don't understand?
Not really. I think it was just because it got me into a different creative zone. I think that's pretty much what it was. But now I could do either or. But when it comes to your style in itself, understanding who you are and how you talk is going to be highly effective. So for me, being bubbly and cracking jokes, that's just how I am. Like, that's not something I'm going to change. I do adjust the level of it depending who I'm talking to. As
Mhm.
far as that, like this whole conversation, it's been a lot of upbeat. We've had good back and forth, but it's like I'm also mirroring your energy that comes off of it too. But at the same time, even if you were serious, I'd be like, I'd still be probably cracking a joke or two because that's just what I do. Okay. It'll be probably different types of jokes. It'll probably be more business jokes, which are more like, um, like kind of insulting your own occupation, trying to make it more
Okay.
lighthearted, versus just random crap. Okay. Because some people don't like that either. Um, but when you know how you typically like to communicate, what you like to typically like talk as far as a flow, and if you can understand it and comprehend it, you can then use that to understand your language. Now, it will take time, um, and you'll probably come back when you find it and go, it was there the whole time, and I just was blind. It's just is how it happens. Because I do that now. Like I still end up doing that. But the biggest thing for me is I'm here with facts. I'm going to give you the facts. I'm going to help you change the facts, but I need you to be honest with me and I'm going to call you out. But at the same time, I don't need you to break down in tears for you to understand where you need to go. And if I do, I will, but I don't want to. I really don't want to. That's the
I mean,
closer's job to make you cry. But um, I can if it's necessary. But most of the time, it's not necessary for a setter.
has that ever happened to you, where you made someone
Yes.
cry?
I got off the phone going,
Hmm.
yes, I made them cry. Um, because when you can make someone cry, you've realized you've helped them dig far into themselves to understand the need to change. And it's a very interesting and weird feeling because you're happy about their misfortune, but that's not what's going on here. You're happy that you can show them the way.
Yeah, I understand. And okay, yeah, I had another question. Okay, yeah. The question is, you said you make jokes sometimes, right, in
Hmm.
conversations.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think about using self-depreciating jokes during like setting or closing
No.
calls? Not at all.
Unless there is some form of reason it doesn't fully deform you, like devalue you. The reason is because if you talk bad about yourself, they're gonna not trust you. Okay. Now, if you're joking along, like they said, I can't throw a ball to save my life. It's like, oh, let me tell you about it. I totally suck. I can't even hit the side of a barn. That's a whole different thing because that has nothing to do with what's happening. Okay.
Okay.
Um, but if we're talking about, I can't just grasp this, I feel stupid, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do. Don't go, yeah, tell me about it. I mean, I can't even read, I can't even write. It's not going to end well. Okay. So contextually speaking, if it has nothing to do with what's happening on the call, you should be okay. But it's not something I would go to, because negative self-talk is also very infectious as well, and can bleed into other parts of the conversation unknowingly.
Okay. Let's say they explain the situation. Okay, no. If they, I was thinking if they said something like, okay, I don't even have a job, but in a funny way, right? Because most people, when they get defensive, sometimes they also try to say things
Don't
in a funny
ever
way.
jump on that bandwagon. Do not jump on that bandwagon. That's emotional shielding. If they say, "Yeah, I don't even have a job," I'm like, and you're happy about that, and just wait, because now they're gonna feel awkward because they're like, no. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't be happy about that. See, now the cool thing is they just transitioned this into the serious part of the conversation, and it's their fault.
Oh, okay.
Your fault,
Yeah.
not mine. Um, That's what makes that part fun. But yeah, when it comes to stuff like that of a deflection, no, 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 no. You do not do that. Because then you end up justifying and making them feel better about their situation, which does not help a sale. It actually helps to deflect a sale.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
So,
I
with that
was
being
I was gonna
said,
okay,
yeah,
yeah,
we
I guess
have
yeah, it's
like
time,
three
right?
minutes on the timer, yeah. Because I have the free account.
Yeah, no,
um,
I was just saying before I asked that question, I was thinking that if they made a funny joke about themselves, like a self-depreciating joke, let's say said something about their work, right? And they said I'm unemployed. So I was thinking before it reached my mind that it's not a good idea. I was thinking I could make a joke about how, bro, I sit at home working, so no one thinks I'm employed. So I could make a joke like that, but yeah, then it hit my head. Okay, not a good idea.
no,
It's a
because then
different.
that goes into too many other questions and concerns and everything like that. So I would stay away from that.
Okay. Yeah, I think yeah, it's time for you to go, right?
Yep,
Um,
I got 2 minutes to wrap this baby up, or it's going to shut me out anyway.
oh, I always forget about this timer. It's so irritating. Always,
It
you
only
know,
comes on the last 10 minutes.
yeah,
So,
when I'm on networking calls, um, it's like I am having a great conversation, and then I see the timer, 5 minutes left,
yeah,
and
that's
it
called
irritates me
time
so much.
control. That's called call control. When you can actually control the call that it doesn't overflow.
Yeah, but you want it to overflow when you are having fun. That's the thing.
Not unless you have somebody waiting right after you.
And not in that case, but otherwise, if you have free time, why not? Why is the software stopping me from doing that?
You can't dictate my work. I dictate my work.
Exactly.
All right.
Um,
So
all right,
I will talk
Christy.
to you later and thank you.
Okay, thank you for the session, by the way. Thank you
Absolutely.
for hopping on a call with me. Bye bye.
Bye.